not every time you might want to switch the company. Sometimes within the same company, you might want to actually switch between the projects. So given such a scenario where you want to stay in the same company but switch the project, which month in the financial year from April to April, which month or which period would be actually good to do it? So my answer would be June to September. And the reason is very simple. You see, when you are switching the company, your interview plays a major role. The preparation that you do for your interview is very important. In the same way, when you are in the same company, your appraisal plays a major role. When you are going to your manager and suddenly asking a personal favor, a benefit, for example, something like this, where you are actually leaving the project because at the end of the day, you are just a resource and he is using you to get the work done. A company, we are present in a company to get the work done. So suddenly if you are going and asking for a release, ultimately most of the cases you see, go and see in Quora, LinkedIn, anywhere, it is definitely going to affect your appraisal if you don't do it properly. Take this period, June to September. June is the place where your appraisal is completed for the previous year. September, the reason I say September, not December or January, is because when you are moving to a new project, again the cycle continues. Your next year appraisal is also present, and that next year appraisal is also important. Every year appraisal is important when you are in the same company. So if you switch somewhere at November or December, you won't have enough time to showcase what you are to your new manager, and ultimately it is going to affect your appraisal for the next year. Real, right? Because you go there and there are already some senior people whom they might want to give a good rating or good appraisal. You are someone new. You have just come now. Compare yourself. You are like a fresher. You came newly. Even though you are an experienced, you are a fresher to that particular project. So in that scenario, some people are already there working hard from 2 to 3 years. They would be given the preference because they know more functionally. They can do things quickly, because obviously when you are joining a new project, it is going to take some time for you to adapt to the project. So at least if you have 3 to 4 months or 5 months to show what you are, to show how dedicated you are, then slowly you can balance, and the next month, next year appraisal, it is going to help you. Say if you try in June, starting in June, then definitely it's not going to be like you ask now, they are going to give you very soon. So it will drag for a few months. Say June, July, August and September. I don't think it will drag for more than 4 months. In a scenario where it is dragging more than 4 months, it means that it is not going to happen so very soon. So if you go by September to your new project or October to your new project, you will have a good 6 months to show what you are, to show your dedication towards work or how good you are. Say October, November, December, January, and by January your new appraisal cycle starts. Because even though the appraisal comes out at April in most of the companies, the process starts by February, and whatever name that you have created for yourself before February, that is going to reflect in April. Similarly, the second part of year, like you should try to join by October, and in that way the next year appraisal is safe. But what about the first year appraisal? Suppose if you go and ask your manager for a release during say November, December, January or February. Now what happens? The appraisal which is upcoming, you might have already worked hard from the previous year, June, July, August, September, October, all these months you might have worked hard. Now if you go and ask in November or December, what is it going to impact? Definitely your upcoming appraisal. Think in a practical way. You are a resource getting some work done, you are getting your appraisal for the work you have done. But if you are going to him and asking for a release, if you are actually leaving the project, is there a necessity to give you a good appraisal? No. If you think from the manager's standpoint, because somebody who is going to stay there, who is going to work there, if that same good appraisal is given to that person who is willing to continue in that particular project, next year, because he has given a good appraisal in the April, next year he is going to work even hard. And there is no benefit giving a person who is leaving in March or April giving a good appraisal, because anyways he is going to leave. And you know, whether it is ethical, unethical, all these things, it depends on the way you see it. But practically speaking, if you go and see anywhere, most of the cases that I know as well, if you try to ask for a release during the ending parts of the year, it might affect your appraisal. I'm not saying it will affect your appraisal. There is a difference. It might affect your appraisal. So if the appraisal is completed and if you are in such a scenario, if you really want to take release, it is worth taking that 1-2 months of extra burden. If in March or April you feel like asking for release, it is worth taking that 1-2 months so that it doesn't affect your appraisal. And as you know, appraisal is a manual process by manager. It is not like automated, like the quality of work that you have done and all these things. Most of the companies, it is a manual process by the manager. So it is better to be safe than to be sorry. And one more thing, is it bad asking in other months? Absolutely not. It is always good. Whenever you want to move, you can try to. But this period of June to October, September, this would be a good period with less stress, and there'll be a less impact if you can get through this in these particular months. And if does it really happen in 4 months? Most of the cases, the answer is no. Sometimes it goes on for years and people ultimately leave the company. But from our side, if we were to try, I feel that you should try in June to September, and that would be a good period in such a way that your previous appraisal is not affected and also your upcoming appraisal will not be affected. Thank you so much for watching.